Your license plate is registered as stolen license plates in our system.
Are you serious?
Dozens of drivers nationwide say they're being unfairly pulled over, some even at gunpoint.
Keep your hands above your head.
Due to alleged misuse of Flock Safety's license plate readers. And it's not just mistakes causing concern. This week, 3 Georgia police officers were added to a growing list of cops accused of misusing the camera technology to allegedly stalk citizens, including ex-wives and girlfriends.
I don't think that Flock created police abuse.
I mean, can you put yourself in those women's shoes?
No, it's horrible, and I apologize.
Did you take enough responsibility soon enough?
I think hindsight is a brutal tool. Of course, we could have done more earlier, and we listen, and we learn, and we'll continue to move forward.
In response, CEO Garrett Langley says he is rolling out new safety measures, including cutting data storage time from 30 days to 7. And in January, Flock will require all of its roughly 6,000 law enforcement agency clients to opt in to what's called audit assistance, which flags any potential police misuse.
Why didn't you make a requirement as soon as you created the technology?
We've evolved there. We've always said we want local control. I think it's up to our elected officials to decide how long is this data retained.
But who is actually looking at this data and why? We put it to the test.
We entered the license plate of this CBS News vehicle into the website, Have I Been Flocked? It turns out we had. This plate was searched 4 times in a 2-week window by the Jackson County Sheriff's Department. We asked why. They didn't respond. We have no idea why. That car has been used for reporting trips for a small team of reporters. It's unsettling.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see their response.
Since January, 50 cities have canceled contracts or stopped using Flock's cameras over privacy concerns.
Did you underestimate the level of abuse that you might learn about 9 years down the road when you founded this company?
I think I'm like many people that grew up in a safe neighborhood and assumed that our law enforcement friends were perfect.
Some people might say that sounds pretty naive.
Maybe I'm an optimist. It's why I started this company, is because I also believe that we can build a safer country. And that's probably naive as well.
Well, privacy advocates that I've spoken to say they aren't satisfied with those new measures. And they say that to them, it feels like too little, too late. Michael?
All right, Anna Schechter, thank you for your reporting.
Welcome back, FightFlock.com. In today's video, we're going to discuss an interview with CEO of Flock Safety, Garrett Langley. He just did an interview the other day with CBS News, and that interview was a result of Garrett being in panic mode, okay? Flock is on the ropes. Right now, the summer of 2026 has not been good to Flock, and rightfully so. This summer, the news of Flock and how it violates our 4th Amendment and how it basically disrupts our privacy, that news has spread across social media throughout the country, and now people are dialed into it and are understanding what these black cameras on black poles all around the country are all about. 120,000 of them installed since 2017 when Flock was founded as a company. So Garrett Langley, here's Garrett here. Let me actually show you a picture of Garrett. Garrett is he's in panic mode right now. He is not having a good summer. He come out of hiding, though. He was in hiding. I mentioned in some previous videos, the last couple of months, he's been in hiding because of all these cops misusing and abusing Flock, right? And we, here on FightFlock.com, we make a lot of videos on those cops, and we cover them extensively here. So Garrett is instituting some new changes starting January 1st, 2027. He is saying that Flock is going to reduce the retention period of the data from 30 days to 7 days. Okay, so that sounds pretty good. Also, he's going to make the audit assistance a permanent feature where the police cannot opt out of it, right? So they're going to have to do audits automatically, which will catch the creepy cops doing the Flock stalking, right? So that sounds pretty good. And then thirdly, the reason category, they're going to have to use a case number now instead of just putting in random arbitrary search reasons, like a lot of them put lookup or ICE or investigate or crime, or they just put in general words or whatever. And now they're gonna have to actually put a case number in there, which that is actually pretty good. They should have a case number to begin with, which means there's some at least probable cause, okay? At the end of the day, you still are innocent until proven guilty. But that is some good news. So Garrett is, again, he's got to make these interviews with the national news. I saw him on Fox. He did the CBS News interview. He's been all over the television right now. And the only reason he's doing that is because his company is in a bad spot right now with all the flock stalking going on, all of these dirty cops getting busted out for misusing his tool, which he calls a tool that's supposed to be for safety, really turning into just creating more criminals is what it's really doing. So in the interview, Garrett, here's old Garrett here. Garrett is he's a liar. Okay, so let's just say that right now, right straight up, he's a liar. Okay, first, way back when his company was founded, he said that he did it because there was some car stolen amongst him and his friends. They had a car stolen, and in the neighborhood, and they wanted to have Flock where they could track down the car thieves. Right. Well, then he says in this interview he grew up in a safe neighborhood, and then he never knew that cops were dishonest. So he's basically contradicted what he said about 9 years ago. Okay, when Flock was founded back in 2017. So now he's throwing the cops under the bus, saying they're dirty, and he didn't realize they had bad intentions, right? That's very comical in itself. So Garrett is obviously been caught in some lies before. We got him on a video previously. Early this year, we did a video on where he lied about Flock being used by the federal government. He totally lied about that and had to come out and save face on that. And now he's caught in some other lies here. And also he's he says he tries to apologize to the women that were stalked or the men that were stalked by these law enforcement officers during the last couple of years. And that apology was not very sincere. Let me tell you that. I can read body language pretty good. And let me tell you, that was a very, very weak attempt at being sympathetic to those who have been stalked. And that's one thing you never heard about is all these victims who were stalked by these cops. Okay, both female cops and male cops stalking their prey using the Flock camera system. So obviously Flock is responding to public opinion. Okay, which is a good thing. We got him backtracking. We got him backpedaling. That's a good thing. But at the end of the day, it's not going away until we can get the Supreme Court to rule in our favor and rule that Flock is a Fourth Amendment violation, which it really is, and it's a search without a warrant. Okay, that is the bottom line. Okay, so all this only helps us come court day, one day when it goes in front of the Supreme Court. Hopefully, in the next couple of years, we'll get a case that will break through and get to the big court. Right. So that is our goal eventually. So looking at the notes here, I made some notes. The apology was a joke, and it's funny how he said the one thing he said was funny. The Flock didn't create. Basically, he says Flock didn't create police abuse. I thought that was funny. That was one thing I wanted to mention. I can't stop laughing. Flock didn't create police abuse. So in other words, he's again throwing the police under the bus. First of all, he didn't know police were dishonest. Okay, then now he says, "Hey, police are always corrupt. Ain't our fault, bro." It's like, hey, don't blame us. We just come on the scene. Cops is always corrupt, right? So basically, he's throwing them under the bus. So the very people buying his product, okay, with taxpayer money, of course, the very people buying his product, he's throwing them under the bus. Let me tell you something. That's a definition of a fink, okay? He's a little fink is what he is, and a little rat fink. And that is, he is, if police can respect him, then they're naive themselves, okay? Because Flock at the end of the day is nobody's friend, okay? And he doesn't care about your safety or your car being stolen or your grandma being kidnapped. He cares about making money. And right now, Flock has over $1 billion invested in that company from Wall Street, okay? From outside agencies from Wall Street, these venture capital companies and whatnot. And Andreessen's a big one. They're a big financier of Flock, okay? So he is worried about his $1 billion that's invested in his company. He could care less about your grandma or your dog or your car getting stolen or basically anything that you think Flock might help you. He could care less about all that, right? He cares about his big green dollar signs, okay? So don't let him fool you there. So Garrett, he is going to be probably on a lot of interviews here coming in the next couple of weeks to try to save face and try to window dress this whole situation. So Flock, I think he was caught off guard probably when they founded this company. They probably didn't realize how corrupt the police were. and how many cops would be caught, busted, stalking folks, especially their, the lovers, ex-lovers, husbands, wives. I bet you they were caught off guard by that. And then the sheer volume of cops getting busted out. And everyone we hear about, there's probably 10 more you didn't hear about. Okay, this channel's covered a lot of them, and we've only scratched the surface on the number of corrupt cops misusing and abusing Flock. I have all the videos on YouTube, and you can go over all the cops I've covered on this channel. This is just unbelievable that we're busted Flock stalking other people, okay? And these folks, some are charged, some have never been charged, some were just fired, some were allowed to resign, some were just still facing charges, going through the system. Some actually committed suicide, like that gentleman. And this is real people, real lives affected, and these are real tyrants. Okay, all these folks covered on this channel. Just in the last year, I've covered most of these folks in the last year. And right now, Fight Flock was created 2 years ago, over 2 years ago now. And this is a good moment for myself, actually, as just a little old person on YouTube, making some videos, have a few followers, and I do outreach with my Flock stickers, decals for your car tag. And this is a good moment for me because after 2 years of just doing this in my free time and telling people about Flock and try to educate people on this, spending money on a website and the decals, I've given away over 6,000 decals in the last year and a half. Just myself alone, okay? And some have purchased them on the website, but that is a good moment for me because I spent a lot of money just on trying to educate folks using, having to get trademarks and whatnot for the website, things like that. And I've literally spent thousands of dollars of my own money on this fight, and it's a really good moment for me. And again, I would spend my last dime if it come down to that to fight this. And I'm fixing to continue to fight until this actually gets outlawed, hopefully by the Supreme Court. Again, that day will be coming soon. But I will, again, spend every last dime I have to fight this tyranny and this mass surveillance without a warrant. So Flock, again, on the ropes, and that's a good thing for us. And if you follow this channel, you know that we have got to the summit, but not quite yet. We're almost to the very top, but we're getting close to the summit. Let's put it that way. Don't want to celebrate too early, but this is a good moment for us. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. And I thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for your support. Take care.